Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Astros Baseball Podcast, a not so happy Astros baseball podcast, as the Astros took defeat out of the jaws of victory as the Yankees won 5-4. Ryan, what's your thoughts?
Oh man, it started off looking like it was going to be a really good game. They were going to dominate the Yankees, and we'll talk about the issues. But they ended up running into some issues and gave up a choke job tonight after a 4-run lead. So we'll get into some of the issues there. But bit of a struggle, bit of a frustrating opening day for Astros fans everywhere.
Yeah. And the elephant in the room to me was, Fromber started off great. And then he just could not spot the fastball. He had walked 3 guys the first 3 innings, but got 3 double plays in 4 innings. 4 innings kind of bailed him out.
Yeah, I mean, the 6 walks really hurt him. Hit batters. Seemed like he was just kind of losing control. Things were kind of moving inside. Maybe that wasn't intentional. Maybe some of it was. Obviously, those are things that we really don't know. And in Fromber style, you could tell there as he was getting the bases loaded that he was frustrated. You could see it on his face. You could see it in his body movements and his body language. I think he had to do what he did after hitting the batter and sit Fromber down. And it is what it is. And then of course we saw, the issue of what a lot of us have had concerns about coming into the season was the middle of the bullpen.
Yeah. Can you think of any pitcher? And of course, we see him so much more, but can you think of any pitcher that is affected more by the pitch timer than Fromber? Man, I can't.
Oh man. Yeah, I can't say that I really noticed anybody that seemed to struggle with it as much. Yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that he doesn't get penalized, right? So he's not giving up balls because of the timer. But I think that you can see his rhyme and rhythm. He's absolutely affected. Luis Garcia, maybe a little bit last year before he got hurt. You could see him feeling a little bit of rush. He liked to rock the baby. The motion and his movement had to change, and the mechanics of his pitch a little bit. But Fromber seems to just be so rattled by it because he's the kind of guy that would have to take a stroll behind the mound every so often after, he'd do something that he wasn't happy with, or he'd miss a pitch or walk a guy or give up a hit. And he can't do that now. So I think that it's one of those things that we just said, Fromber being in his own head is his own worst enemy when it comes to the lack of time that he has to, if and many of you guys will get the movie reference, but to clear the mechanism.
Yeah. Well, and like when we were kids and you're out pitching, the coach says, take a walk around the mound. Well, you can't do that anymore.
Yep.
I kind of wish, as a rule, like the batters get the timeout. I wish the pitchers would get maybe 1 or 2 or 3 timeouts during the game. I mean, I think, that would give
sense.
The batters get the timeout. Why can't the pitcher get 2 timeouts per game?
Yeah. I mean, I guess they could always just throw the ball back in and pretend that they don't like the ball and give them a couple of seconds at least, right?
Yeah.
But you're right. They don't get the benefit that the batters do of getting to call a timeout during a pitch sequence. So that'd be a good adjustment to the rule. I think I agree with you on that. Yeah.
Hey, and if anybody has any questions, even though this is a recap, please send them in. We'd be glad to hear what you have to say and get your feedback on the game, questions for us, things that we might have seen. Montero did what Montero's been doing. Yeah, he threw 1 bad pitch, and the number 9 hitter, Cabrera, just smoked it, didn't he?
Yeah, he threw the head of the bat out there, and he just got a good one on it. He lumbered it perfectly, and so Tucker turned around and watched that one go into the stands, and that was the impetus to the Yankees comeback. Really, if you want to look at it, they really kind of started getting hyped, and they're taking good at bats after that, taking advantage of the walks, and that seemed to be a turning point in the game, unfortunately. You know, Montero, man, you know, that's the guy that if can we get 22 Montero back somehow or another? What happened to this
What
guy? Man, I don't know.
I
It's
so
frustrating.
agree. You know, we said a few pods ago is that is the unsung most important player on the team.
Yep.
You got to get somebody to bridge back to the back end. And Presley has had some trouble, but you know, the only reason that ball stayed in the park that he threw to Judge today is he hung it so far inside as he
Yeah.
couldn't get the lift on it.
Couldn't barrel it. Yeah.
But
You know,
he really hung it.
I'm a Presley supporter, big time. Love Ryan Presley. He has done so many good things
Oh, he
for this
has.
Astros team,
He's been
but
such a pro.
he really has. He really has. But I mean, you have to recognize that the reason that they went and signed Hader was because I mean Presley had the second half of his season last year was worse than Montero's. I don't know if most people realize that. It was bad. It was really bad. And that's not to say that that's the Presley that we're going to see, but if the writing's kind of on the wall, Presley is you know, could end up being a concern for this team. And tonight showed why. You know, I mean, between him and Montero, 2 runs and 3 hits given up. You know, the loss, Presley took the loss tonight. So it's a concern. The middle of the bullpen, I think Presley will be fine. Obviously, they probably felt a little squeeze with the Abreu not being available tonight. You know, hey, what about Taylor Scott though? That kid came out and threw a hell
Taylor
of an inning,
Scott
didn't
looked
he?
good.
That was a hell of
Taylor
an inning.
Scott looked good, and it
Yeah,
took you know, he's one guy that's just come off the outside lane and really pitched well. He earned himself a spot.
he did very quietly too. He was not one of the, you know, more talked about minor league guys that was given a shot, and it was great to see him come out and have a heck of an inning. And then of course, you know, Josh Hader, he's a freak. I mean, 13
Oh,
pitches,
he
3
is a
Ks,
freak.
just shut it down. Um,
He is a freak.
he'll be a saving grace for this season for
Well,
sure.
you know, you got to get him there first, and
Absolutely.
that's the thing that we got to worry about is that, um, like you said, if can we get through the middle innings? Can we
Yep.
line these guys out to where uh, to where they're dependable? You know, Taylor Scott's been around since 19, kind of in and out,
Mm-hmm.
in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Not a ton of experience, but he has done well. He's done
This is
well
his
in every
first. This
spot.
is his first opening day roster.
Yeah, I
I'm
heard that.
almost
Isn't that
positive I
cool?
heard. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
very
right.
good for him to go out and shut it down in front of the home crowd and you know, and have a heck of an inning. So
That's
yeah,
good.
yeah,
That was good. Other pitchers, Martinez looked okay. He walked a guy.
yeah. I think
Um,
we got out of Martinez what we're probably, you know, can expect out of Martinez.
you know, I thought James Hoy behind the plate was pretty marginal.
Man,
Um,
somehow or another, the second half of that game, the zone just it completely shifted. It completely changed.
right.
He was given high zone stuff that he wasn't given Fromber at the beginning of the game.
No. He squeezed Fromber, but Fromber's got to be a hard umpire, hard pitcher to umpire.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he throws that ball with so much movement. Man, that two seamer was running a foot, and but he was squeezing him. That's not
Yep.
the reason that he walked all those people. And give the
Mm-hmm.
Yankees credit. You know, they gave some pretty professional at bats, didn't they?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, you know, you have to expect that from these guys. I mean, as much as we can hate on the Yankees, when you start naming off the guys that are on that lineup, especially the first 4 or 5 guys that are there, they're pros. They're good batters. They know the zone. They've got good, powerful swings. You know, they're a force to be reckoned with. And I think that they came out tonight and showed why they deserve the respect that they have, although they still have a lot of respect to earn because they haven't really been able to take that and put it all together. Obviously, putting Soto in there is a big piece for them. And, you know, he did some work tonight, both at the plate and with his arm. That play at the end of the game there was something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And since and we've got the chances late, you got to give him credit. I mean, that
Yep.
was he's I've never thought of him as being a super great outfielder, but that was a one bounce perfect throw that gave Trevino a chance to ride Dubon off the plate. It was one of those plays I thought, if he called him safe, how can you call him out? And if he's out, how can you call him safe?
Yeah, I mean, I guess my only question is the lane. I guess I don't understand how they can say he gave him a lane when the lane was 3 feet off of the plate. Dubon had to go 3-4 feet wide of the lane in order to be able to get a hand on the plate. So I don't understand how that was really called not blocking. Maybe I need to learn the rule better and understand what that really means, because even TK and Blummer were like, we gave him the lane. I'm like, how did he give him the lane? He's 3-4 feet out of the lane to be able to get to the plate. I don't get it. Again, maybe I don't understand the rules enough.
I wish they'd go back to pre-Buster Posey.
Man, yeah, dude, just drop a shoulder.
Just drop a shoulder and be a man.
Drop a shoulder and get it.
I mean, you think this is bad? Yeah. Look at it and I'm going back a little bit, as I might be prone to do. Go look at the All-Star game, 1970 All-Star game, when Pete Rose just planted Ray Fosse.
It's a very famous play.
Unfortunately, really hurt Ray Fosse's career.
Yes.
Rest in peace, Ray Fosse.
Yeah, and especially for that to have happened during an All-Star game and
not
in regular play. But
I know we're a little off topic now. And they talked to Rose about that.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, we played the All-Star game hard because like these guys were making, call it $75,000 a year.
Yep.
Okay. Now the winner of the All-Star game would get like 15,000 and the loser would get 7,500.
Yep.
Okay. So when you're making 75,000 a year, that's 10%. That's 10% of your salary. So it's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice bonus for sure.
Yeah, and it was those old All-Star games were fun to watch, man. They
played. Yeah, it's kind of like the old NBA All-Star games back in the day too, man. They played the game. It wasn't just a pickup game.
Yeah.
It's things have changed. It really have. When you look at the game, it's interesting dynamics, and it's okay to see the game adjust and evolve into something a little bit different. But when you have a play like that where Dubon had to run so far out of the line, and you have a blocking rule in place, what is the block? Like, what's the block? Where's the box or the line that says that the plate was blocked? I don't know. Maybe it's because he caught the ball ahead, in front of the plate or in front of the line or the lane, and then reached. So that wasn't considered a block because his body wasn't in the way. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I need to go back and look at it a little bit better. But inconclusive evidence that he was tagged. Looked close, like you said. If he was called safe, would have been hard to overturn. He was called out, hard to overturn. So I would have sent Dubon too, to be honest with you there. I think a lot of people were like, why send Dubon? It's one out. Like, you send Dubon. He's quick. Soto shot a rifle. He just made a play. Make a play.
Yeah, sometimes you tip the hat. There's another team out there that's trying to win too.
Yep. And I think you take that chance.
And so now here's what we have when you talk about where things are in the last 3 innings. Diaz singled, Pena singled in the 6th. Singleton grounded out to pitcher. Let's talk about it.
Oh, well, it's the first game of the season, so we're going to talk about this with some grace, Wally. But maybe I
wonder how many bad words were said in front of the TV on that at bat.
Man, I'm sure a lot of people were. I mean, just look at Twitter. I mean, there X, whatever. A lot of people were cussing. And I think a lot of people are still questioning it, and it's questionable. I mean, Jake already hit a home run in this game.
A big boy home
A
run.
big home run. That wasn't just
He
squeaking
knocked
it
that
over the
ball in.
Crawford
He knocked
boxes.
that ball in the next week.
That was gone. I mean, Jake hits the Yankees well. He always has played well against the Yankees. I think that was probably you and I. You kind of said it off of the recording before we went live. You know, you said rookie manager. I think it was a desperation call a little bit on Espada. The Yankees were coming back. They were taking that lead. And I think Espada was kind of getting a little antsy. Maybe there were some metrics that showed that it wasn't a good matchup for Jake. And so he felt like he needed to throw the left-handed batter in there. And that's whatever. It's fine. I think it was probably a good decision from the standpoint of let's take advantage of some metrics here. But John Singleton's an amazing story. The guy has overcome so much, and I think he's probably an amazing human. But I'm over the Singleton experiment. I just am, Wally. I just can't figure out why we're still trucking with the Singleton experiment when you had a kid like Looper Fido that showed up the way he did during the spring. He's an athletic kid that can play multiple positions. His bat is definitely no worse than Singleton. I just don't understand why we're continuing with the Singleton experiment. So
yeah, Brian, thanks for the question. I think
popping in.
The answer is, do y'all think Dubon was tagged out at home? And it's I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, you could look at that play and say the tip of the glove got him, or you could say that there was an inch between him and the glove. There was, and I think that's probably why the call was not overturned. There wasn't anything conclusive. They did not have a good camera angle to take a look at that close enough to see if there was air between the glove and Dubon. My gut tells me that Dubon got tagged because he didn't get up and throw a fit.
Yeah. He said check it.
Yep, he did. He got up and he said challenge it.
He said challenge it.
Maybe he was thinking he was challenging the block and not the tag.
Who knows? But you're right. The more you look at it, he took a wide turn.
Yep.
So I wonder if they're setting the path up from between where he finally made that, got past the apex of the turn and went to home.
Yeah, that's very possible.
So that's what. Hey, that's not the reason they lost.
Nope.
When you look at the 6th, 7th, and 8th, you walk 9 people. Okay, 6th inning, Diaz singles to right, Pena singles to center, Diaz to third. Jeremy had a good game today. 8th inning, Altuve singles to center, Bregman singles to right, Abreu struck out. Bottom of the 8th, not much. Diaz got an infield single. Bottom of the ninth, you've got Dubon single to right, and then we know we got 3 hits in the bottom of the 9th and didn't score.
Yep.
You got to have those games. But, tomorrow's another day.
It is.
Tomorrow's another day. I think they gave themselves chances to win. That's good.
They did. Yep.
They didn't execute. Sometimes that's baseball. In fact, that is baseball a lot. And Fromber's got to find the strike zone.
Yep.
And we've talked on the pod about good Fromber and bad Fromber. We got both, didn't we?
We did. We got a little bit of both tonight. We got a little bit of both. There were some high points in this game for me, despite the outcome. Obviously, Yainer Diaz, our new everyday catcher, baby.
Yes.
Thank you, Dusty. 3 for 4 with an RBI, right? Pena.
Yeah, he get 2 or 3 hits.
Diaz 3.
Okay.
Yep. He went 3 for 4 with an RBI. Did I look at that correctly? Did I get that?
Yeah, it is. It's 3 for 4.
Yep. 3 for 4 with an RBI.
RBI.
Yep. Pena 2 for 4, right? Jake with the home run. We already kind of tapped on that. And where's my other notes here? Sorry. I already said Pena, right? Pena 2 for 4, Jordan 2 for 5. Chaz, right? Chaz with the 2 RBIs. He didn't do much after that, but that was a clutch hit for Chaz. And then Dubon getting on base after coming in for Jake late in the game there. That was huge. And, I think that's one of the things I think with Dubon is if he can do that off the bench more often than he did in 22. In 22, when you saw Dubon come up, it was with guys on base and you were, 3 out of 4 times you were betting on a double play ball, since he's worked with Jordan and had the season that he did last year, even though overall his average was basically Dubon average, but he had those great few months when he plugged in for Altuve, and then late in the season, he also hit the ball really well again. If we can have that Dubon coming in off the bench, that's quality, that's strong, and he can play a decent defensive center field, right? I'd prefer to see him play infield versus outfield, but he's good enough. And I think that when you can bring a Dubon in late in the game like that, for matchup purposes, or you pinch hit for a guy like Jake, or you pinch hit for Pena even late in games, maybe if Pena doesn't figure himself out, having a Dubon to come off of the bench, I think that's a benefit to the team. And I like that he showed tonight why we trust Dubon. I like that.
Hits that ball, he gets that outside fastball, shoots it to right field. That's when he's at his best.
And I think that is the thing that they love about Dubon, is that he's a contact guy. He just makes a play. You make them make a play. Put the ball into play and make them make a play. And I think after him working with Jordan and learning a little bit more, how to power it, how to push the ball, and putting on the weight that he did, I think it made a difference. So I'm hoping to see this kind of Dubon for the rest of the season for sure.
Every winning team needs a Dubon type player.
Yeah.
You got to have that guy that you can just plug.
Yeah.
Anything else on that?
That was a high points. I guess one of my down points that we didn't bring up was that the Astros only walked twice today.
Yeah.
Wally. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Some of you
frustrating.
Some of you give credit to Cortez because he could have easily fallen apart. And boy, once he figured it out, Now he was getting some corner calls that Fromber was not getting. Now he throws the straighter ball.
Yep.
And
and their bullpen came in and did a good job too.
Yeah, they did a good job.
Loaizica came in. He gave up 4 hits. Hamilton gave up a hit. Holmes gave up 3 hits. But they did not. The Astros didn't score despite 8 hits there off of Loaizica, Hamilton, and Holmes. The Astros couldn't score. They left 10 on base tonight. 5 of those with 2 outs.
Yeah, you would hope.
No, I'm sorry. They left 9 on base. They were 3 for 10 with runners in scoring position,
which is not bad. You go 3 for 10 with runners in scoring position. That's okay.
Yep.
Well, tomorrow's another day.
Tomorrow's
Tomorrow's game is on Apple TV. They'll have another game on Saturday on Fox. We'll be doing a recap both days. I won't be there at Fox on Saturday because I'll be at the game.
Be at the game. Yes, sir.
Any final thoughts?
I think that there's a lot to take from this game, both positive and as a concern. Middle of the bullpen as a concern. And as the season goes on, I think they are going to have to make sure that they really work on that middle of the bullpen and really figure that out. We know starting pitching is going to be fun. Christian Javier going tomorrow night is exciting. Hopefully he can break whatever was going on in spring training and pull a good one together. I think the offense, we had, how many hits did we have tonight? We had 13 hits. 13 hits tonight. So
we had 15 base runners.
The guys were putting the bat on the ball. And so I think the offense is going to be fine. This team is stacked, Wally. This team is stacked. And I think that we're going to be fine offensively. We're just going to have to take advantage of more opportunities later in the game. You can't just score 4 and then sit on your laurels.
Yeah.
They're going to have to take more advantage of opportunities later in the games. So that's, my final thoughts is let's score some runs after the 5th inning. How about that?
Yeah. Well, and historically, this team has been a team that if they score 5, they win. If they score 4, it's a crapshoot.
Yep.
Hey, my final thoughts is, don't panic. There are things that went on today. If we're still talking about them on May 15th, then it's time to panic. We'll just see what kind of moves Espada makes. He's certainly going to be quicker to make moves than Dusty was. We saw that when Dusty got thrown out of a game last year, and he made a couple of double switches that were just really, really sharp and worked out well. But he's certainly going to be more of an active manager, it seems, than Dusty was. And we'll just get him tomorrow.
I think so.
That's all we can say.
Yes, sir. Right. 7:05 game time.
7:05 game time. Apple TV again. Thanks, everybody, for listening. And remember, we're on Apple Podcasts. So you can find us on YouTube. The pod is also uploaded to X. So feel free to look at them, look at those. And thank you for listening. All 100 of people who are on listening to us tonight. We really appreciate. Brian, thanks for the question. Everybody have a great Astro evening.
Go Astros.